Good morning. I'm Errol Barnett at the CBS Broadcast Center here in New York. We have breaking news coming to us from Southern California, where a dangerous brush fire continues to grow. People have been evacuated, and it is threatening Pepperdine University. We're going to join CBS News Los Angeles for their ongoing coverage of this breaking event.
None of the signals worked or anything, but then once you got closer this way, you know, like past Paradise Cove, everything's like normal and lit up, and I got back to the house and went to bed fine, and then midnight, I hear all these helicopters, and I thought it was from the Navy base or something, and it come out, and the whole mountain all around us, everything was engulfed, and I got everybody up and out of the house and tried to stay back and save the horse.
Yeah, you could hear how emotional that woman was. Luckily, she was able to get all of her loved ones out, and she got most of the animals that were in her area, her neighborhood, out. But that was also a concern we heard from a lot of people this morning, that there are a lot of areas here where people have farm animals, where people have horses, and that was really a concern about, like, where do we have room or time to get them? Are they going to be okay on their own? Really concerning when fires break out in these overnight hours, because it is very dark. It's hard to know what's going on, and it's hard to know, just how much time you have. Again, as we come back out here live, one of the things I can say is that we have seen a lot of water dropping helicopters in the last little bit. They've kind of been coming through here doing some drops. We're seeing kind of the white smoke as they make some drops, and we're not seeing as much active flame in this area. But again, what we've been talking about all morning is that it was very windy in the overnight hours, and then over the last couple of hours it's died down a little. So fire crews are being really aggressive. They're sending as much aircraft as they can right now to try to take advantage of this moment when they can do drops and they can try to get some areas contained, because they know that the winds could go back this morning and could become really gusty, and then they're going to be limited with what they can do from the air. So we've seen a lot of aggressive firefighting in these early morning hours to try to get a handle on things. But still, because weather is so unpredictable, all of these evacuation orders that went into effect overnight, they're going to stay in place. And firefighters tell us they do appreciate that here in Carbon Canyon, almost everybody did leave voluntarily. One of the people that we were talking to earlier said they've been through fires before. They know how quickly things can change, and they didn't want to take any chances. And that really is the thing that we want to stress, whenever you get those evacuation warnings, like, pay attention and do what firefighters say, because especially when we're talking about these canyon roads where access is an issue, they need people to be able to get out safely so they can get in and do what they need to, and they can't kind of do both of those things at once when we have some of these narrow, windy roads. So they're glad that, at least in many areas that we've seen this morning, people were taking those evacuation orders seriously, and they were getting out and doing what they could to stay safe. We'll send it back to you.
That's what we're hearing from a number of officials too, so that is the good news, that people are getting out. Tina, thank you for that. We're taking a live look at SkyCal right now. Now that the sun is up, sunrise just happening as we speak. We're going to picture there is freezing just a little bit, but you're starting to get a better scope of how this fire has impacted the Malibu area. You can see there's just so much smoke in the area. You've got firefighters on scene trying to protect structures and continue to work some of those evacuation orders there, where you've got 6,000 people evacuated. We now want to get to Rick Montanez, who is live for us this morning. Rick?
Yeah, we just moved west a little bit from where we were. We were talking about being right near City Hall. Well, we wanted to show you here, now that the sun is coming up, we are even seeing, this is the other side of PCH, where you see these firefighters that are on this hillside here, trying to put out these flames that are burning above several homes, but keeping them from getting to the homes that are just on the other side of this ridge. We see firefighters above and below it. There's trucks also down here. And, it is an incredible thing. We've talked about Malibu this morning, why people live here, the beauty of Malibu. And I mean, you see the sun coming up, the juxtaposition of this gorgeous view right here with the flames that are threatening home after home after home in this city. So it's, a sight to see, really, but also incredible to see these firefighters working very quickly to protect these homes. And that's what we've been hearing from our crews over and over, about how all of these firefighters are trying to save every home that they possibly can. We're going to swing around because I want to show you something real quick over here on the other side of PCH. So that is Malibu Ranch Village. Those were the apartments or condos possibly that I was talking about earlier that we were trying to see because they were threatened by the flames and embers that were burning so incredibly close. But now that the sun is coming up, we're seeing that those are fine. Up on the hills, you see there are more smoke plumes. Now we're looking toward the direction of where Pepperdine University is. So, we talked with a student from there this morning we found her walking actually on the road trying to get to her boyfriend who was picking her up to evacuate the campus. So that was incredibly dangerous, but the situation itself is dangerous just being out here. Again, fire crews right now are trying to protect these homes here behind us, and so we're watching as they're doing some pretty incredible work, and the flames are just burning through this brush here. And we see down in the driveway here, it might be one of the homeowners possibly just pulled up next to this fire truck that's here down on the driveway watching these homes. They will do what they can to protect the homes. They're hoping that people get out of the way because it is so difficult driving around here. The other thing I want to point out before I send it back to you is one of the first things that happened when we arrived here in Malibu, we found a spot to stop in, and then immediately we saw there were downed power lines in front of us, so we got out of the way. But that is what we check for when we're finding a location to go live, to do our live reports. We try to make sure that we're parked in somewhere safe, certainly, so we had to move out of the way for that. So there's just so much going on here, safety-wise, that people need to be careful, listen to those evacuation orders, and get out of the way so these first responders can do their job. As you see, they're very hard at work right now. We're starting to see what is left, what is damaged, what has been impacted by these flames overnight.
And Rick, you've been extensively trained, you're experienced over the past decade or so covering fires in Southern California. For people who don't have training, for people who just woke up with maybe they didn't get their alerts, maybe their Wi-Fi was down, no electricity, it's a really scary situation, as you know, just driving to your locations.
Right, and that's what, why we train, so that we can understand how to keep ourselves safe. There's a lot of adrenaline going. People start to worry and panic sometimes. We were talking with that student. She was from New York. She has never been through anything like this. And, as news crews, we respond to these scenes, so we see what it's like to be out in these areas. We know what the smoke does to our eyes, what it does as we breathe it in, but a lot of people have never experienced that, and hopefully never will. But when you do, it is certainly quite a shock to the system. We even talked with people who were trying to get out of Malibu. They pulled up next to our news vehicle, and they were asking which roads were open or closed. And as I was talking with my photographer, Sparkle Day, we were saying, it seems simple enough. Look for the other major road just up the street that may be open, but sometimes you're in that panic trying to get out. And if you've never been through anything like this, it certainly can be terrifying, especially in those overnight hours if you are suddenly woken up, or for those Pepperdine students, a lot of them were still awake from yesterday because they're getting ready for finals. So there's so much going on. It's so difficult for them. We just hope that everyone, of course, is making it out safely and listening to those warnings and evacuation orders, and just trying to be calm as you get out of the area.
Oh, that's Rick. I just want to point out, Sparkle had pushed in a few minutes ago on the firefighters behind you. It's really remarkable to watch them work this morning. It is going to be those ground crews that get in there in this type of terrain and are able to put water directly on the flames that are really going to be able to get this fire under control. You can see several firefighters there. It's remarkable the work they do in the conditions that you're reporting in this morning, and you just see how thick the smoke is as well.
And Jamie, if I could point something out real quick, talking with these hand crews, they also have to go in there and start digging through the dirt after the flames are out, because they want to make sure that there is nothing smoldering underneath. So when they talk about putting out hot spots, that's what they're doing. They're getting in there by hand to make sure that they dig up any embers that are burning. It could be several inches down into the ground, maybe even up to a foot. So they're trying to make sure that that doesn't doesn't come back to life and then spark more flames.
Yeah, these images that we're looking at right now, you see the firefighters they look nonchalant at this point, but these little hot spots can flare up in just seconds into massive flames. And that's the fear. That's what we've been seeing all throughout the night.
Well, I think it also goes to show, you see just the size of the firefighter next to just this one. When we talk about hot spots and how quickly they can spread, looks can be deceiving on television, I think, when you do have so much vegetation, but that's a very large hot spot that they're going to have to try to get water on this morning. Rick, thank you for all your reporting out there. We really appreciate it. We want to get to Marina Jurica now, who's been looking at the conditions. We see now that there's sunrise, just how big of an area this is impacting.
Yeah, Jamie, and unfortunately, the winds are strongest in this area and a line from the I-14 mountain pass to Calabasas to the western side of Malibu. And so we're seeing wind gusts at about up to 50 miles per hour right now. It was up to 70 miles per hour overnight. So we got a little bit of an improvement. We actually saw a little bit of an onshore push, and that helped raise our relative humidity a little bit. And I talked about that in detail last half hour. But now we're starting to see those pressure gradients tighten again, and that tells us that we are starting to peak, and we will continue to see very gusty winds out of the northeast through the morning hours, and then things will start to improve as we head into the afternoon. But remember, this is an issue for all 5 counties, and so it's affecting 5 counties. We've got a red flag warning through tomorrow. We've got a high wind warning through 1 o'clock today. And that's for, northeasterly winds at 30 to 40 sustained with gusts of up to 70 miles per hour. And our lowest humidity, our dew points, will come tonight. And the good news is that we will have better winds at that point. However, we will continue to see those dew points just plummet into the single digits. And so we're going to have to be very, very aware of that as we push into the rest of the day today. So giving you a quick update on where we're at with wind gusts right now. You can see that area that I was telling you about, that is where we are seeing the peak wind gusts from the Santa Clarita Valley heading down into Camarillo and Simi Valley and through Malibu. And looking at our fire weather outlook as we push into the entire day today, there's really very few people who are not in our fire weather extreme, critical, or elevated categories for the day. And that fuchsia area that I was talking about, that is the bullseye. That is where we will see the winds at their highest. We could see up to 80 mile per hour gusts in the mountains, and then as you head further down, we'll be looking at about 60 mile per hour gusts, and then critical in more of that pink area, and then elevated as we head into that tan region. And using our next weather winds futurecast, we're able to push into the future and see by 11 o'clock we're still in that 40 mile per hour range, but at least we're out of the 50-60. And then as we head into 2:15, we're looking at anywhere from up to 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. And then by the time also into Orange County, we head into 8:30, and then into the late overnight, early morning Wednesday hours, we're pushing into that 10 to 20 mile per hour wind gust. And then by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon, we are starting to slowly see that Santa Ana wind event end. And so that is what we definitely want. But we have to get through today first. And unfortunately, that red flag warning will last with us all the way through the overnight into early tomorrow morning. So in the entire day today, we are going to be looking at the potential for these extreme winds to cause a lot of problems. And as we have seen just in the overnight hours with the Franklin fire, it just exploded. And the fire is burning so hot that it's actually modifying those local winds inside of it. And I've been talking all morning about fire weather and basically how these fires create their own weather because of that intense heat. And it causes that air to rise. It basically just makes something very similar to what a thunderstorm does, a strong updraft by pulling in all that surrounding air and oxygen, and that just feeds the fuel for the fire even more. And so the cycle just makes the fire more dangerous and harder to control. So if we can just keep it as contained as possible and just know that, just be cognizant in the back of your head, no matter what you're doing today, that these conditions are not going to improve until later on tonight, especially with hazardous crosswinds and driving conditions. If you're going to be driving in any of the overpasses, just know it is going to be very, very blustery throughout the entire day today. And I just cannot heed people the warning enough throughout all of Ventura and LA County, throughout the Santa Monica mountain ranges, the western San Fernando Valley, the high desert. Just please be careful. The 118 corridor, 210 corridor, we know all our trouble spots and our usual suspects. And so just please be cognizant of the fact that we are going to be in this extreme fire risk through the day today before we start to see improvements. And then as we head towards the end of the week, we might even get a little bit of our leftover rain from a low pressure system, which of course is going to help us out because honestly, Rudabeh and Jamie, we've just been so parched. And I mean, I've been talking about this even with my winter weather outlook. We're in a weak La Nina, and so even though it could go any way, it's really feast or famine, and the Pac Northwest and Northern California.
All right, we're watching closely coverage from CBS News Los Angeles as they all document this explosive wildfire overnight called the Franklin Fire. They're in Southern California near Pepperdine University. They've got mandatory evacuation orders in place. People listening to that, but so many homes and people's lives at risk at this moment in Southern California as the Santa Ana winds, which are hot, dry air, pushes in from the desert and accelerates and worsens the blazes you're seeing now.